What is going on, Sports Wars? We're here. We're live for some Monday evening quarterback. And, I was really hoping there'd be some drama to talk about on this stream. I was really hoping that, something of note would have happened. Maybe a major meltdown by a guy who's had a bunch of major meltdowns in the past. But unfortunately, really nothing going on this week other than, of course, Antonio Brown once again. Jeremy, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Antonio Brown just being a complete nut job. Fantastic content for us. It's been so much fun watching this all play out. I truly don't know what's going to happen, but I know that I'm enjoying the views we're getting from it, and I'm enjoying the content that it's helping to create. But this dude, what the hell, man? Like, just when you think that Antonio Brown has passed all of his antics, he goes and does the worst thing he's ever done. Absolutely insane.
Well, and there's a lot of different stuff coming out about this now, and we're obviously going to get into it here in the beginning. But it does have to just be noted, if it was a random player, we probably wouldn't be talking about it maybe to the extent we are, but it's Antonio Brown. We've seen Antonio Brown force his way out of teams, refuse to play for this reason or that reason, force his way out of Pittsburgh, force his way out of Oakland. It's just been a consistent thing with him. Obviously got released from the Patriots after a bunch of outside the field issues came up. We've seen him have interactions and run-ins with police. We've seen him throwing things at moving company trucks. It's a constant thing with him.
He's basically Conor McGregor.
Well, I think it's Conor McGregor, but I think there's a little bit of intent behind what Conor does. I don't think that's necessarily what it is when it comes to Antonio Brown. Now,
I agree with that.
His team is coming out and, saying a couple things about why it went down, why some of these things happened the way that they did when it comes to the details. But let's get into it. Let's show everybody what exactly we're talking about here. This was crazy.
It really was crazy.
This, I think, is kind of the best view and the best entire situation of what happened. The longest clip that we have, at least. This is from someone on the sidelines to set it up. And I need to turn my Discord off because it just keeps making noise.
I heard that.
Get out of there, Discord. But Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing the lowly New York Jets. Obviously, the Bucs are shorthanded. Leonard Fournette not available. Chris Godwin out for the year. Antonio Brown coming off an injury from several weeks ago. He did play last week, and he's playing this week. In the third quarter, something happens on the sideline, which we will get into, and it sets Antonio Brown off. He's clearly agitated, and this ensues. Now, Mike Evans, right? Mike Evans trying to talk to AB, trying to tell him, hey, man, don't take your jersey off or anything like that. And it does not work. Turn it down because it's not super important.
Shout out to Mike Evans for trying to keep this dude in check, but it was clear that wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So he takes his jersey off, throws it, starts walking away. Keep in mind, the play clock's running because the game's being played. Like on the other end of the field, like the game is actively being played right now. And he throws his stuff out there, and then he's about to walk across the field. Now, keep in mind, the story right now from Antonio Brown's camp is that the Buccaneers asked him to go back in the game. He said, I'm injured. My ankle's too injured. I can't play. And they told him, well, if you're refusing to go in the game, then get out of here, kind of thing. And that's what made this happen. Well, for someone with an injured ankle, he certainly isn't limping, and it certainly didn't prevent him from starting to skip across the end zone and run out of the gate. Antonio Brown walking across the field as the fucking game is being played.
What an idiot, dude. There's his hurt ankle. Hurt ankle. I mean, really, Antonio Brown?
And saying goodbye and peacing out as he runs back to the locker room. Now, in the immediate aftermath, Bruce Arians gets asked this in a press conference, and he responds.
All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
Oh, well, hold on.
You need to back it up.
Part.
Yeah.
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
Okay, and can you talk about that final drive? I mean, obviously.
So that was it. That's all Bruce Arians wanted to say after the game. He gets asked a question, and he's super short with reporters, which I don't think is necessarily the greatest way to go about it. When something like that happens, I do think it kind of needs to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. He elaborated a little bit today, but of course, the GOAT had a much more reason and the kind of take you would expect from Tom Brady, don't you think, Jeremy?
Yep, absolutely, 100%. This is exactly what I thought he would say.
Yeah, here he is.
It's obviously a difficult situation, and I think we all want him to just think everybody should find hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And we all love him, we care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best, and unfortunately it won't be with our team, but we have a lot of friendships that will last. And again, I think the most important thing about football are the relationships with your friends and your teammates, and they go beyond the field. And I think everyone should be very compassionate and empathetic toward some very difficult things that are happening.
Now, to put this in perspective, Tom Brady's lost one of his top wide receivers. He's lost a running back. The defense is completely banged up. They just struggled. Tom Brady needed to engineer a game-winning drive in the final seconds to beat the Jets. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible, to be honest, what he was able to do. But after all that, I would be a little bit pissed if I was Tom Brady. If I stuck my neck out, if I did everything I could to keep AB here. And that's his response. Yeah,
I mean, Tom Brady's went over and beyond for AB, in which AB's been pretty good, all things considered, by the standards AB has created for himself. Because, and I think Mike Tomlin deserves a lot of credit for dealing with AB for however long he dealt with him. Kind of kept him in line, and one of the best receivers in the NFL. So shout out to Mike Tomlin for that. Got to acknowledge that. But there was nobody that was going to touch AB for various amount of reasons, and then Brady lobbied for him to get there to Tampa. Clearly, it was a good decision from the results they've seen on the field. No doubt about that. There has been some controversies, but I got to think Tom Brady's really pissed off about this whole thing. I got to think he's really not happy. He's like, dude, I put my reputation on the line for you, and you have done now. Publicly, he'll never say that, but privately, I'm imagining he's very upset about this.
Yeah, I would have to imagine. Now, some stuff did come out, and I wanted to play a little bit of this from Ian Rappaport, which kind of explains what Antonio Brown's side is saying.
Until Tom Brady and others stepped in, and he ended up a member of the Bucs, but hard to imagine anyone taking a shot at him now. But let's examine how we got here. From what I understand, and Bruce Arians laid some of it out, they told the Buccaneers coaches, told Antonio Brown to get into the game. He refused to get into the game. He was tossed from the sideline and then released after the game when Bruce Arians announced, or at least Bruce Arians announced it after the game, that he is no longer a member of the Buccaneers. They talked to people close to Antonio Brown, and they paint a different story for whatever it is worth. Of course, we know Antonio Brown's ankle not allow him to practice Thursday and Friday. He looked fine pregame, looked good during the game, and then he felt like his ankle was not good enough to play. And in his mind, that is why he refused to go out on the field. But then he was still tossed from the sidelines and then eventually released. Will be interesting to see what further action, if any, comes from Antonio Brown, if he really does believe his ankle was too injured for him to play.
Now, what do you think about that, Jeremy? The idea that they told him basically get off the sidelines if you're not going to go back in.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with the player being told that, but he still made it about him. He still made a big hoopla over it, and that's the problem. You created a distraction for your team while they were down. You created a problem for your team that's injury ridden, and now you've created all these questions that they're going to have to deal with after the fact, all because of how you acted. If he just would have walked off the field, maybe with a trainer, you know what I mean? None of this is happening. He created this. There's no one else to blame but him. He did this. So if you were told to leave the field, that's fine. It's your actions and your antics that led to this. You made it about you. And that is what it comes down to. And that's been the Antonio Brown way for a long time. So he's to blame. He's the reason to blame. The interesting thing I think about all this is Bruce Arians saying he's no longer a Buck, but like we said, Schefter said that he's not been cut at this point.
Yeah, so here's that tweet from Adam Schefter, which was only about an hour and a half ago, maybe almost 2 hours by now. Bucks did not officially release Antonio Brown on today's wire per source. There are ongoing discussions with the NFL about how to move ahead in this situation. Don't know what that means. Hasn't really been any follow-up that I've seen. Just because they didn't release him today doesn't mean they don't still intend to. But
yeah,
maybe the fact that there might be some concerns over we try to make this guy play injured, whatever that may be, maybe that's on the table as well. Maybe they're hesitant to because of that. I don't know. I do know that I think to give Antonio Brown the benefit of the doubt is a little naive.
He hasn't earned it. He hasn't earned it.
You know, if you've been kicked out of 11 different bars in your city, right? Maybe the problem's you. It's not the bartender. It's not just, oh, well, you know, they just don't like people that get all wound up there. No, maybe you're the problem. And that's the case with Antonio Brown right now. And it is, it's a shame because the guy's so freaking talented. But it's also funny how he can get alleged to do all these different things to people or to movers or to women. But it always ends up coming down to what happens on the field, you know, or with players or in the NFL when it comes to whether Antonio Brown's vilified or not.
Yep. And I do think the media is going to take this situation right here and be 10 times more angry at him because of the fake vaccination card rather than if they would be normally. They probably like, oh, this guy needs help and we need to. Now it's like, oh, he's the worst thing ever. And we like their anger is going to be amplified a lot because of all of that. And because that's how the media operates, because the media full of losers and NPCs. So I do think that the anger from the media is going to be amplified based on their social justice nonsense and their identity politics crap and their pro jab nonsense that they're all on. So that'll be an element to it. But the media is really angry right now at him. And I think I think we know why exactly. Because Antonio Brown's been like this. He's always been like this. This is not surprising.
Yeah, normally they'd be going like, oh, mental health, CTE. They'd be saying all this stupid stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they would normally be pushing. But yeah, you're right. It is probably going to be a lot about the vaccine card nonsense because he did get wrapped up in that.
Yep, 100%. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. So
we do have a $10 super chat from probably John Matrix there. Cancel Bruce Arians for firing a black man. Where's BLM?
Yeah, racism. It's racism.
How dare he?
So amazing how the media, No. If there was no Vax card situation, there probably would be. But now that the Vax card's there, that trumps racism. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how their mind works. So that's pretty funny, actually.
Absolutely. But other than Antonio Brown, there were actually a lot of incredibly important games that we saw play out. I think.
Just say it. Just say it. Just fucking say it. Just fucking say it. Just fucking say it.
Oh, well, I wasn't even going to
say it. No, just fucking say it. Just say
about
it.
Fantasy?
Yeah, just fucking say it. Get it over with.
Dude,
get it over with.
I was about to talk about Joe Burrow and the Bengals beating the Kansas City.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. That's part of your decision to
Jeremy,
start him. Your decision to start him is why you won.
Well, my decision to start him. Well, if I get like 12 points out of Deontay Johnson tonight, that's not the reason why I won.
Oh, okay.
But with that being said, I guess we can go there. Let me pull up our fantasy league, Sports Wars.
Do it. Get it over with.
It's so in Jeremy's head. I didn't realize how butthurt he was.
I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. It's bullshit.
So
keep in mind, my first year doing fantasy football, I had the best record in the league. Okay, I had the best record in the league.
Not the most
one bad week. Second most points. You still need 1 point tonight. You need 1 point tonight, right?
That is true. If Deontay Johnson catches the ball in the backfield and then breaks his leg and ends up with like negative 5 points or -2 because he fumbles or something, you would win overall points. But that's not going to happen. As you can see, with one player left, I still have Deontay Johnson for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I think is the 7th or 6th best wide receiver this year because I drafted so well. I've already locked up and I have won the Sports Wars championship for fantasy football. Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Now, Joe Burrow did go off, which resulted in Jeremy having a very good week to try to challenge for number 1 overall in points, but unfortunately just didn't happen. You know, Jeremy, number 2 overall in points. The reason he has the best record is obviously because he
had the best team.
Least points scored against him.
That's called good defense.
That's actually not how it works. That's called good matchups. You're like Miami. You're like the Miami Dolphins and their 7-game winning streak against like every backup quarterback in the league.
I had the most points at this moment in time with you having 1 player left. I still have the most points in the league for the season, and I have the best record as a rookie. As a rookie. That means next year I'm going to destroy you. It's over.
No,
you're no match for me.
My number 1
You're
pick
no match
also,
for me.
My number 1 pick, Christian McCaffrey, played about 4 games.
You're
so
no
you can put
match
that in
for
perspective
me.
as well.
And
Jeremy's
if
done. It was never in doubt. I wasn't even really focused on this year, to be honest with you.
I made one bad call last week when I played Tugs, and I lost because of the bad decision. Didn't even check. I didn't even check that morning. I just forgot to tighten things up because the 2 weeks ago I had a really bad week because of the Buccaneers all got injured. But I made some moves, but I didn't put Mixon in. And there's one other one that I didn't put in. I think I was going to take Renfro out and put
Hank Hill, you're 100% right. I dealt with injuries all year long. Jeremy only dealt with injuries, unfortunately, at a very bad time for him. So that is part, and I managed it. I made some great pickups. I guarantee you, not only did a lot of the players I draft do incredibly well, but also I made probably the best pickups in the league in terms of the waiver wire. That's how you win championships.
I was a rookie,
there.
and I finished 3rd overall with the best record. Next year, I'm going to destroy Ryan. Ryan is no match for me next year. It's over. It's
Boss
over.
Hog makes a great point. You had girls in that league. It doesn't matter. I agree. Like we said, it was Jeremy's first year playing and he wanted to play. So
okay, that was good. That was good.
What can you say? What can you say? But with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and of course your fantasy quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, that Bengals Chiefs game was awesome. That was to me, that was the game of the week this week, and had a lot of big implications too. Obviously, the Chiefs sitting there with that top seed in the AFC, the Bengals trying to clinch the AFC North, and I love Joe Burrow. I really do. I think he goes a little too hard sometimes. I think he's going to get injured. He damn near got injured at the end of this game. He had to come out for a few plays while they set up for that game-winning field goal. But he is a gamer, man. I love him.
He's the future of the NFL, man. I really think so. I mean, I watched this guy play in college. He was fantastic at LSU. Had arguably one of the greatest seasons ever in college football, and backed it up on the field. Talked some major shit afterwards. Showed a lot of arrogance, which is necessary for someone to play at this level. And now, after an injury last year that kind of sidelined him, this dude's back, and he is a beast. I mean, he is a beast. And look, there's no doubt he's got a great surrounding cat. He's got some great talent around him, but he is a beast. He really is.
Jamar Chase is a freaking monster, dude.
He really is. He really is.
He is insanely good. And I think he had 3 touchdowns, 266 yards, a rookie record, a Bengals record, probably top 5 all time. And you're looking at yardage from a wide receiver. I don't know who holds the record, to be honest with you, but crazy game for Jamar Chase and for Joe Burrow and that Bengals team. I don't know what the odds were. I would imagine that they may have been the lowest in terms of odds to win the AFC North. When you look at the Ravens, when you look at the Steelers, when you look at the Browns, and the Bengals end up clinching the division yesterday. And that's awesome. I really like what they're doing there. I think they've got a young coach who's going to take a lot of gambles and do things like that. I like the Bengals. I'm looking forward to what they're doing in the future. And, you know, even though the Steelers, this is likely Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Field tonight against the Browns. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers continue in that AFC North. But between the Ravens, who are always going to be good because of Harbaugh, and the Bengals, I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Burrow, Herbert, probably like your two of your future guys that are gonna, be really, really relevant in this league. Obviously, Mahomes has established himself as going to be a great player moving forward, but Burrow is he's legit, and it's going to be interesting to see how far they can go in the postseason. And Joe Burrow's the real deal, though, no doubt about it.
And an important part of that was that Kansas City, who was sitting at the top seed, they end up losing. And when you look at tiebreakers, that's going to the Tennessee Titans, which is crazy to fathom because I feel like they've kind of just played like shit all year. Like,
especially since Derrick Henry went down,
Yeah, they've just been scraping together and managing stuff. And, they had a good game yesterday, obviously. And having Brown back is big for them. And Derrick Henry could potentially come back for a playoff run, which is necessary, I think, for them to win the AFC. But
it has to happen. It has to. They have to. And he is such a beast, and I'm so happy that now is it confirmed is it like a really good chance that he can come back?
He's already been doing stuff in practice, evidently, light workload type of stuff. So I'm almost 1,000% sure he will come back. And something like that too, the type of injury he had, the worst that's probably going to happen is he's just going to like re-break and re-aggravate it, which you don't want feet injuries for running back. You do not. However, it's not like that would be something that would keep him out of next year if it did. Mm-hmm. So I think they would probably just roll the dice with Derrick Henry. But that first game bye is going to be very important to them to just have that much more time for Derrick Henry to get right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up right now, man. You going into the playoffs, I don't know who the favorite is. I mean, there's a lot of teams in both divisions that can make some noise. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. So, well, I mean, Tennessee's definitely a team that if Derrick Henry's there, like they could go all the way. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And obviously you've got the Bengals, you've got this whole thing with Kansas City. I don't know what Kansas City we're going to get week to week at this point. I have no idea.
Well, they played well.
They did play well.
It's not like they played shitty or anything. I mean, Joe Burrow goes for almost 500 yards again. Jamar Chase goes off. That defense could not stop the Bengals. But yeah, it came right down to the wire. It was a last-second field goal. They were tied, and time expired, and they kicked a field goal to win it. After a huge goal line stand, like so many plays.
That was so many crazy. That was a crazy, because I was watching that. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And ballsy calls. Great football, actually. There was some good football that was played yesterday overall. That was, to me, again, like you said, that was the game of the day for sure. But playoffs, man, it's gonna be very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And over in the NFC, we had some pretty important games as well, including Green Bay Packers. Clinching. Aaron Rodgers has played incredibly well this year, obviously a leading candidate for MVP along with Tom Brady, along with a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who's probably not going to get the type of recognition a lot of people want to give him. Though the Raiders did beat the Colts yesterday. However, you got to admit they did luck out a little bit with Kirk Cousins getting COVID and having to sit out in that game. It was not competitive in what was a big game for the Packers to win, because with that win, they lock up the number 1 seed a week early. So now they can rest their guys. They get a bye week, all that stuff for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the hottest team in the NFL right now going into the playoffs. I think they've got all the momentum. They're going to have the number 1 seed. They're going to have playoff. They're going to have home field advantage going into the playoffs with this cold weather. I think that is a huge advantage to them. I think Aaron Rodgers should be MVP, although I don't know if he'll win MVP, especially if Brady finishes strong with this beat up team and he's got the stats anyway, because Brady is leading in every statistical category. But Rodgers is playing a little bit better football, in my opinion. Now, Rodgers doesn't have to do as much because that team is operating on all cylinders much better than Tampa Bay is, but Rodgers is really playing well. And going into the playoffs, if Green Bay is not your favorite in the NFC, they're not the dominant favorite. You know what I mean? There's still a few teams that can stand toe-to-toe with them, but they are clearly the best team in the NFL right now, and they have the most momentum going into the playoffs, no doubt about it.
They have been the most consistent. You know, we started off this year, that first game, you know, the first couple games, I think they were struggling a little bit, if I remember right, back to week 1, 2, and 3. And we said, oh, maybe Aaron Rodgers taking the summer off to make it all about him. Maybe that wasn't the best look for the Packers locker room. You know, that's all been proven to be unfounded. Yeah. They have been, since those first few weeks, very consistent in their performances. And all you can do is play the opponent in front of you, and that's what they've done. Even with Aaron Rodgers, a target of the mainstream media over the COVID stuff, you know, even with all of that, you know, the Packers have performed very consistently at a top level. And it's gonna be tough to go through Lambeau to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I mean, again, I think that it's gonna be interesting to watch because I do think that's gonna be Tampa Bay is gonna have to go to Lambeau if they can make it that far. It depends on how depleted this team is right now. I mean, what's the latest on Fournette? Do we even know if he's even going to play in the playoffs at this point? I mean,
he should be.
That's a key. That's a massively important piece considering Godwin's out. Antonio Brown's running around naked somewhere. He won't be there. So if they don't have Fournette, I'm not sure they win a playoff game.
I believe the plan is for him to be back. I think he's on IR. I don't think he's on season-ending IR, if I recall right. But I'd have to double check that. We also did have a couple other people clinch playoff spots, like the Eagles. And watching the Eagles is painful because of the offense running with Jalen Hurts, but it's successful, and they did clinch a playoff spot. And I wanted to actually show you this, Jeremy. I don't know if you've seen this
clip.
or not.
Yeah, where the people fell. Yes, this is
actually awesome.
It's awesome because I've said this as a Bama fan. I have said Jalen Hurts is legitimately good dude. I love this guy. His leadership was incredible. When he got benched for Tua, he handled it like a true professional dude. I mean, and he cheered the team on, and then he stepped up when his moment came back around. Jalen Hurts is a great dude. I have been to the Washington football team's stadium. I was going to say something. It's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a piece of shit. It really is. So, yeah, this right here, though, I have seen this.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh.
This could have hurt him and a lot of people. This is bad.
This could have been an absolute disaster, but it turns from like a disaster to like a really like heartwarming moment very quickly. Let's watch this. Down. Look at this.
That is awesome, dude. That is cool. That is cool. Jalen Hurts, awesome, man. He deserves the recognition as a good guy, man. He is a really good dude.
But like all these guys leaning against this railing at Dan Snyder Stadium there, and they fall, and they came so close to hitting Jalen Hurts. Watch this.
They really did.
That dude, look at that. Oh, that cameraman.
He's still holding his phone, though. Look at him.
Oh, he is, yeah. He's still got his phone. Look at that. Somebody said he'll have COVID in 2 days. He probably will. But and I love how he immediately like checks. You can't check on everybody, but he immediately checks on the guy who he saw literally cranium himself right in front of him. Yeah. And then everybody gets up and he like embraces all of them, and the crowd just this is a cool moment, man.
This really is cool.
What the hell look at this cameraman. It looks like he was going full Cobra Kai. Watch this cameraman and this kick. What the hell was that?
Was he trying to?
Look at him.
What the hell? Wow. Did he? So is he maybe blaming this guy for toppling everything?
Maybe he's blaming all the people that were leaning over. But
what
I just saw that. Look at this. Hi-ya!
That guy needs to be called out. That's awesome, though, dude. Hell yeah.
That is really cool. So yeah, Jalen Hurts really does seem like a good dude, and that's like I said, a moment that could have been an absolute disaster that turned into a really cool and special moment for Eagles fans and for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Really happy to see that Jalen getting some recognition that he deserves because he is a solid dude. He really is.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that could have been so bad. It could have been so bad.
Yeah. And another big game we had was the Dallas Cowboys facing the Arizona Cardinals.
Thanks, Zeke. Thanks, buddy.
It's funny. Me and Jeremy were on the phone because he was like, I might only be in third place, but I'm going to take you over in points. He said, I got George Kittle and Zeke. I said, Zeke ain't going to do shit. Zeke is just going to sit on the sideline and get fat as fuck because he's trash now. He's garbage. And I believe he got about 10 more yards in that game after we spoke.
It's
And
just ridiculous.
that was it. And then he sat there to eat his Wheaties.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out too well. But a big game for the Cardinals, obviously, who have been on a big slump. Now they've been playing close games, but they have not looked good. They have not looked like the team they were the first half of the season. Kyler Murray obviously got injured for a part of the season as well. But that's a big win for them at Dallas. And so Dallas goes from that solid 2 seed to now dropping down. And as we can see, when we look at the playoff picture right here, you could see Packers obviously sealed up that number 1 seed. And then you got the Rams, the Bucks, the Cowboys, and the Cardinals. And somehow, some way, the San Francisco 49ers are still in it. The Saints are still in it. But the Vikings, unfortunately, did get eliminated with that loss with Kirk Cousins being out. So now it's down to the Saints or the San Francisco 49ers, with the Eagles already clinching that spot. But these teams right here, I feel like all almost have very similar chances, especially with Tampa Bay being as banged up as they are without the Tom Brady trump card.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Tampa's trending in the wrong direction right now. They're trending in the wrong direction for a lot of different reasons. But they have Tom Brady. And I'm probably going to make a video about this on the channel, but just like if Brady is able to pull this off this year, this might be his greatest performance ever. You know what I mean? Because he's obviously had a great season statistically, but they have dealt with a lot of shit this year. They have dealt with a lot. And I know everybody likes to say Tampa Bay is loaded, and they are loaded. But my goodness, man, they have dealt with a lot. And 2 weeks ago, or I guess a week ago, that was a catastrophic bad game for them. I mean, Gronk's been out a lot of the year. Now you've got Godwin, who's going to be gone completely. You got Antonio Brown, who's going to be gone. You got Fournette, who's probably the most important piece to the offense outside of Tom Brady right now. You've got Fournette, we're not sure what's going to happen with him. So if Brady's able to pull this off, this might be his best performance ever. And it's going to be interesting to see, but there's a lot of competition in the NFC. And right now, it's going to be tough to beat Green Bay. It's going to be very tough.
It really is. Green Bay is, they look really solid, and Tampa Bay had to go up and do it last year. They were able to do it. But we'll see what happens. Real quickly, let's hit some of these super. Do you need to get going, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm fixing to bounce. I got another stream to get to. Great crowd tonight. So thank you guys so much. Love it. We're here every Sunday doing a Sports War stream every Sunday. We're looking to amp up that stream on Sunday. So thank you to all the new subscribers and Ryan continuing to kick ass on this channel. So you guys have a good one. Thank you for being here. Smash the melee button. Ryan, I'll talk to you later.
All right. See you, man.
All right. Bye.
There we go. And then it was just me. Let's take care of some of these super chats, guys. Again, thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Excuse me. Fuck. Pee Wee Pierre for 5. NFL, beat or rape women, murder, harass people, legal issues equals good. Also NFL, look at the QB wrong or fake vax card equals suspended and fines. Kind of, Pee Wee Pierre. Kind of seems like that's how it goes, huh? Oh, man. Excuse me, I'm fucking hiccuping. Dom H for $30. Thank you, Dom. Hey, guys. First time super chatting. That is freaking awesome. Can we do this? Get a little applause. Thank you very much, Dom. Appreciate the super chat. First saw you guys mid-2021 on FNT, and now a big fan. Watch most of your videos. Big-time Giants fan. It was nice to see those 2 Super Bowls, but now they're a laughing stock. Yeah, the Giants are struggling. They got destroyed by my Chicago Bears with Andy Dalton starting, which I do think that's the best recipe for success for them is Andy Dalton starting, which sucks. I think Justin Fields is definitely a project. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Giants, they're going to have a rough go of it for sure. But thank you very much for the super chat, Dom. Appreciate it. Where is this? Chris Coran for 2. Buccaneers in the playoffs at home. Can't wait. They're going to be there. They're going to be at home for sure, Chris. At least hopefully. I mean, they could lose and it wouldn't work, but, you know, I hope they're in the playoffs. Or I hope they're in the playoffs at a home game. Well, actually, they should because of, I guess I don't technically know if they're going, if a divisional winner automatically gets home field or not now. They should, though, right? I'll have to look that up and make sure. Gerald Armstrong, they have to. They have to. Gerald Armstrong for $10. What's up, Gerald? Hey, boys. Do you think Antonio Brown's stunt was because of mass formation psychosis? By the way, Ryan, your old ship left for deployment today. Nice. The USS Abraham Lincoln must have gone underway for deployment. That's good to hear, Gerald. Do I think Antonio Brown was because of mass formation psychosis? No. I think that Antonio Brown has mental health issues. That's what I think. And he's had him for quite some time. But I like the reference, Gerald. I like the reference. Everybody should watch Joe Rogan's podcast with Dr. Robert Malone. That's what I'll say about that. Where is... I thought there was another one, but I think that's it. Let me check Streamlabs over here. Let us check some Streamlabs. All right, not there either. All right. Did I get my booster? No, I did not get my booster. No, did not. Aaron Stafford says Caleb is leaving too. AB stood his ground. Maybe. I want more stuff to come out. I want more stuff to come out about the AB situation. Obviously, if you guys want to talk about it, or if you guys want to listen to me and Jeremy's conversation, I'm going to clip that out and make a separate video about that and upload it here to Sports Wars. But you can also just rewind the stream a little bit if you want to. One important thing we didn't talk about when it comes to the Cowboys, but we should talk about it because it's pretty big news. Michael Gallup did tear his ACL while catching a touchdown. And when it happened, you almost saw, you could see it happen in real time. You saw his leg kind of flying, and it wasn't like, his leg wasn't flopping, but you could tell it just wasn't moving right in slow motion. And he did have a very clean ACL tear. I believe Michael Gallup is scheduled to be a free agent in the offseason. So, you know, that could definitely, unfortunately, affect him. You hate to see that. But it also is a big blow to the Cowboys in terms of their receiver depth there. So not good news for them. Not good news for them. AB said his foot was hurt. They wouldn't let him out of the game. Yeah, I talked about all of it earlier in the stream, MG. And I also do think that, like I said earlier, when it comes to Antonio Brown, this isn't just, oh, this happened. No, it's a history when it comes to Antonio Brown and the things he's done. And yeah, he said that his ankle was just really hurt and he didn't want to play. And then he proceeds to literally skip off the field, you know, skip and jump off the field in the end zone while the game's going on. So it's like, oh man, I don't know how hurt you are if you're skipping across the field. That's what I'll say. I'll also say that there has to be a ton, and I mean a ton of, you know, cameras and microphones and stuff on the fields and on the sidelines between the broadcasters, between NFL Network, all that stuff. So, or NFL Films. So maybe there's some audio. Maybe we can actually hear that. That would be good to know for sure. I wonder as well. I wonder as well if that's the case, then, you know, kind of what was Mike Evans doing there? Like what was the discussion that I think Cameron Brate and Mike Evans were having with him to calm him down? If it was like the ankle injury stuff, I don't know. Oh no, Oral-B Suriel for 5. You guys missed my super chat on Sunday stream, but it's all cool. Keep it up and hail Sports Wars. Dude, I'm really sorry if I missed your super chat. Let me I try to do as good a job as I can at getting all of them. Yeah, I didn't see Antonio Brown with any limp at all, and that's why I don't think that Antonio Brown has earned the benefit of the doubt from anyone. That's what I'll say. You know? With a lot of other players, I might be more willing to, to do that, but I don't know. Oral-B Suriel, I found your super chat from last Sunday. I can't believe I missed this, dude. I'm sorry. It's more than location. Massachusetts is one of the shittiest states in the country, but they are the most successful sports states in recent memories. Go Sox and go Pats. There you go. I appreciate the super chat, Oral-B. I'm sorry that I missed it the other day. Did he say that, Connor? Fuck it, throw it to Chase? Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. I'm listening. All right, let me share it. This is what I'm seeing right now. I don't know if this is what you're talking about.
No. If you're going to play one-on-one, a lot of times it's going to be a long day for you. He's a great player. He's going to be a great player for a long time. Great person too. He doesn't care if he gets 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, or if he gets 0 yards and everyone else, makes all the yards. So, great guy to have on your team.
He makes all the yards. Oh, here it is. All right, so this is Joe Burrow talking about the meme. Let's listen.
Everyone knows that meme. F it. Jamar's down there somewhere. I'm going to just throw it up to him. He's going to make a play. Everyone knows that.
That's awesome. I like Joe Burrow. I really do. I wasn't sure about him coming out of LSU. He obviously set tons and tons of records. But I really liked, even though they weren't super successful last year, he obviously got injured. I just like kind of his attitude and stuff. And obviously he has the game to go with it. I think the Bengals, they still need to shore up that line because they need to protect this man because he won't protect himself. He's got a lot of Big Ben attitude to him in a way when it comes to staying in the pocket and taking shots and stuff like that, which I think he needs to protect himself to a certain extent. But that's also when you get these great downfield plays. I really like Joe Burrow. He's got great wide receivers. He's got a great running back in Joe Mixon. And I think he's got a head coach who is very mindful towards giving Joe like what he wants. And it's obviously been incredibly successful. Second year, didn't even get a full year last year. And now they're AFC North champions. So kudos to Joe Burrow. I really like him. Let's see. Mike Hill for $5. Do you think tonight will be Big Ben's last home game? I do. I do think so. I think that he just has looked so bad this year. And I think it's the best thing for Pittsburgh to move on. And I think it's the best thing for Big Ben. He has just looked washed at times, really. And it's unfortunate. It's tough. Sometimes you see people, sometimes you see people that hang on too long and it just goes downhill real quick. And I think that's the case with Ben Roethlisberger this year. When it happens to quarterbacks, it happens fast. So hopefully he can get out while he still can. Check Streamlabs and see if we're good there. Now, obviously, we had a couple big games. Well, a lot of big games in college football this weekend for sure. But the ones I wanted to focus most on, are going to be the big games that we had. The big games that we had in the college football playoff. and I can't find the one I want right now. But obviously, Cincinnati and Alabama. We talked about it on the Sunday stream. Alabama looked like they were in control the entire game. Cincinnati, I will say, put up a good fight, especially that defense. I think that defense really kept them in this game for a long, long time. But at the end of the day, Alabama just had too much. And Cincinnati could not move the ball on offense, which is a shame. It really is a shame for them. And I think people wanted to see a more competitive game. Everyone would have loved for that to happen, but that's just not the way it went. So we end up with a final score there of 27-6. A lot of people saw it coming. Cincinnati should be proud of everything they did, but there's just a big talent gap there. Georgia and Michigan, however, I don't think the talent gap is as big there, obviously, but there's still a talent gap there. Unfortunately for Michigan, like we have been saying for the past couple weeks, Michigan got a really bad matchup with Georgia. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying their talent level there as good as Georgia, or they just, it's just because of matchup. But no, Michigan, what they do incredibly well is run the ball. They aren't great when you're forcing them into passing situations. They're built to run. Georgia is built to stop the run. Georgia has dominated the run game all season long with those front seven. And, Michigan they just couldn't do it. They couldn't deal with it. And that's exactly kind of what I expected to see. An Ohio State team, even though they got rocked by Michigan, I think Michigan is better than that Ohio State team. Ohio State would have had a much better chance against Georgia and would have performed much better because of the matchup, I think. For them to be able to really be able to spread the field and force the ball downfield a lot more in the passing game, that would have been a better matchup against a Georgia defense. And so we saw Michigan really get dominated by Georgia. And it's culminating in what we all kind of expected, an Alabama-Georgia rematch, which I don't want to see. I just don't. I do think they're the two best teams, but I just saw them play. I would give the edge to Alabama, although I think that fresh off the books, Georgia was favored a little bit, which is interesting to me. If out of these two teams, I want to see Georgia win it, mostly so I can cheer against Jeremy and his Alabama Roll Tide. That's what I'm hoping. I hope Georgia does it just so I can see Jeremy upset. And to just mix things up a little bit. I do think we're going to see the college football playoff have an expansion of sorts. I don't know if that'll change the end result, but I do think it'd be a good thing for college football to have an 8-game playoff. Maybe start at 6 and have the top 2 get a bye, something like that at first. But I think 8 is the perfect number. It's never going to satisfy everyone because there's always going to be someone in 9th be like, oh, this should have been us. This could have been us. But you have to cut it off somewhere. And I think for football, I think if you get the conference winners and you put them in a college football playoff, and then you have a couple at-large bids, that'll have room to have 3 SEC teams, 2 Big Ten teams, a Pac-12, a Big 12, and maybe a couple at-large, maybe a Cincinnati, maybe a UCF like we saw a few years ago, stuff like that. So that to me, I think would be the best way going forward. A couple of the big games we had, Ohio State had a big game with Utah that was a lot closer than a lot of people thought, but Utah's had a good season. Utah's had a very good season, and that Rose Bowl, Ohio State comes away winning 48-45. Very high-scoring Rose Bowl. Another interesting game was Notre Dame almost pulling off a big win, almost pulling off a big win on New Year's, only to be thwarted by Oklahoma State. And I don't like Notre Dame. I'm not a big Notre Dame guy. In fact, I'm a big Notre Dame hater. So that's always good to see for me. But I think Notre Dame performed better than I expected them to. But I don't think Oklahoma State's really that good either. Iowa gets upset by a Cincinnati team that surprised a lot of people this year in the SEC. And then Arkansas destroyed Penn State. So although the Big Ten started off really hot, Purdue beat Tennessee on a questionable call at the end of that game. Big Ten started off really hot, kind of faltered down the end when you look at Michigan, when you look at Iowa, and when you do look at Penn State. But that was kind of my big takeaways for college football the past few games. Gerald Armstrong says Steelers would be wise to grab Pickett from Pitt. Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. I'm very interested to see what they're going to do at quarterback, to be sure. Very interested, especially because they're like a middling team, right? You know, it's not like they're going to have a top 5 pick. You know, they're going to go 500 or whatever, potentially. So I don't know. Who day? Yeah, the Bengals. Bengals are exciting, man. Bengals are exciting. Well, with that said, guys, I think we're gonna call an end to Monday evening quarterback. Yes, Brian. Yeah, OSU had 10 guys out. That's a thing you do have to take in consideration with college football this year as well. There's so many people that are missing games due to the bullshit COVID results or the restrictions that a lot of these teams were kind of handicapped in a lot of ways. So it's kind of tough to judge some of these games in context, but it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. And so these teams came out and competed. But with that being said, we're going to end it right there. I know Jeremy is doing, I know that Jeremy and Dan Vask and Tommytron TV are doing bragging rights today. So go check out bragging rights on the Geeks and Gamers channel where they do retro toys and collectibles and things like that. They have a little competition. So you got the best haul for the month. So definitely check that out and support Geeks and Gamers. Appreciate you guys being here. A nice stream today. We appreciate it. And I will talk to you later. Peace.